On Wednesdays at 7, sharp as can be, blue gals calling, come knit with me.
Hey guys, Blue Gal here, and bye-bye JoAnn's. Let's say goodbye to JoAnn's, R.I.P. I had avoided going to JoAnn's just because I thought it would be too sad after they announced they were closing. But middle child was home last week and wanted to go. And so Thursday morning, we went. Thursday late morning, we went. And they had some yarn left. I wouldn't say they had a lot of yarn left, but there was a woman buying an entire cart full of brown yarn, and I'm sure she was making chickens or teddy bears or something. It looked like a group kind of project thing that she must be doing. And I got 2 blankets worth, baby blankets worth for charity for next Lent. Some gray and some green. I didn't bring it out, but I also got a few, whatever they had left. I think they had 4 or 5. Oh, I can tell you, I've got the receipt right here. Some of this is middle child stuff, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins, 5 more skeins. I have been gathering this yarn for a while to make a cardigan for myself of the Kroy in celestial colors, which is a purple and blue, which I really like. This yarn, however, is notorious, and I've seen comments about it on Ravelry and Reddit about how different the dye lots are on this. And so this is from 3 different years, 3 different dye lots, and you can see this one's really stripy. This one has some dark purples in it, and this one is just muted. And these are from 3 different years, 22, 23, and 24. They kept making this, but they didn't try to, keep the dye lots in any way matching. So people were, I saw on Reddit, someone was complaining that they bought 2 to make socks and wound up having to stripe them because literally the dye lot was so different that the socks wouldn't look like they were made out of the same color. So I'm going to have to be creative about how I put these, and I'm going to do a top-down cardigan with the more colorful ones near the neckline, the more stripy ones, and then work down to the colorways that are, or the dye lots that are, pretty solid and muted. That one, yeah, well, whichever one. But this one is definitely going at the neckline because that's just got stripes in it. And that one's from 2023, I believe. 2022. Okay. And I did a swatch on that as soon as I brought it home. And I got unblocked 5 1/4 to the inch on 4s. So hold this up. Okay. It's not going to, there we go. There we go. I think blocked is going to be 5 1/2. And that'll be a nice weight. I also swatched this on size 6 needles, and it wasn't bad. For a sock yarn, it really wasn't bad on 6s, but I think 4s is going to be better. And then I got some fabric. I am looking forward in June or July, and I don't know when she's going to do it yet, but Nitty Natty will be having Sock Week. And I always make, in addition to participating in Sock Week, I always make or for the past 2 years, I've made a project bag for myself to go along with whatever theme Nitty Natty Natalie comes up with. So I got a couple of fat quarter fabrics, and this one, and these were $10.99 and $14.99, marked down 70%. People are going to be showing you their JoAnn hauls, and it's sort of sad to me that we're all talking about how much we saved in terms of buying for 70% off, but they're out of business. So they over couponed. That's one of the reasons they didn't make money. they trained their consumers to never pay full price, and that pricing model just doesn't work. Anyway, so one of the fabrics in this pack of fat quarters is sharks, and that used to be the theme, was Shark Week, Sock Week. Sock Week used to be held during Shark Week, and you'd watch shark movies while sharks and whales. Killer whale. I think that's a killer whale. I don't know. Anyway, these mostly sharks. And so if that turns out to be Shark Week, Sock Week turns out to be the theme, great. Last year she did the great outdoors because she'd been traveling to national parks. And so along those lines, this one is really pretty. So whatever, and there's a couple other novelty fabrics in here. I think this is, let me look at all these. Dragons. This looks like, yeah, this is dragons. And comic book UFOs and space, outer space. Dinosaurs. Oh boy. And more space. This is more of this is astrology. Okay, because this has constellations and planets. So I'll find use for these, and hopefully one of them will meet the need for the theme, whatever Natalie decides to do. And these are nice. These kind of semi-solids with little dots in them. Those are nice for lining the project bag. So that's on the list of things to do in the summer. The other acquisition this week was simply that my two younger kids were home, and they gave me my Mother's Day gift. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I tend to not drop hints, but simply tell my family exactly what I want. And then they can either order it for me, or in the case of my husband, I just order it. I've already picked out my birthday gift for July. I'm going to get some knit picks up. They have those boxes of their Shetland that are color samples, 20-gram balls in like 30 colors. And I've asked for these little mini balls of Shetland yarn because I'm really liking Shetland colorwork. But these are from Jimmy Beans, and this is Dream in Color Jilly. Fingering weight, 100% superwash merino, and it's 400 yards. 440. Okay, 440 yards in 3 colors. There's this green. There's a blue. And there's a semi-solid that isn't really, and there we go. It isn't really a blend of the 2 colors. I can see knitting these 2 together. Definitely. And, those are nice. I can see doing that. They're very similar to my sunflower hat. It's, I could do a colorwork hat with that and make a scarf out of that. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but it might be socks. This might be socks. Who knows? But I did like the colors. So, yeah, that's going to be something. And progress report is not really a progress report. It's kind of a slow down, Fran. I made this hat, this sunflower for Ukraine hat, in 11 days. And I do love it, but I knit it really fast. And then I started the Shetland Wool Week hat, and I'll show you where I am. I'm on the second repeat. It's beautiful, but I've had to slow down with it because of stiffness in my arm from going so fast on such small needles. I think it's too much. It's too much for the arm. So I went to Dr. YouTube and checked out, what I can do about discomfort, and talked about rest and massage, and also I am careful with my posture while I'm knitting, but I had not thought about the stress of pulling this yarn. This yarn is a lot more stiff than this is Tosh Merino Light. This is Jamieson Shetland. It's a lot stiffer yarn, and it's a little more, you really have to kind of pull it, and less slippery is what I mean. And so I've had to, and this was really good advice, put cushioning and a pillow. I'm actually using a rolled up blanket because I can form it around my body and really have a comfort, not leaning into the pillow in any way, but sort of have it so that I can sit back and have my elbow on this cushion to support my arm while I'm knitting. But I'm also only doing a couple of rounds of this in an evening and then switching to something else. So this is going to be a lot slower than I really was expecting it to be. I'm not going to put it in the UFO pile because I really do want to finish it, but I'm not going to race to finish it. And I'll keep you updated as to progress, but it's not going to be an 11-day hat. It's going to be a couple rounds at a time and then put it away and work on. And I did cast on this morning the top down cardigan. It's Jen Hagen's top down. It's called hashtag F14 men's top down cardigan. This is for youngest child who wants a baggy grandpa sweater, academic grandpa sweater. I have had conversations with them about colors, adding a stripe of green around the bottom and around the neckline, so that it's got a little bit sporty as well as academic, has some stripe going around the neck, and that's what they want. So I'm going to do that, and it's on 8s. So instead of 3s, it's on US 8s, and it's a very soft, slippery yarn. I'm using a Barocco vintage. So I will show you my progress on that next week. But I just cast it on. There's really nothing to show you yet. Wanted to end today talking about organization, knitting, and housework, and not recommending that you do housework instead of knitting. No. One of the things I've been watching on YouTube has been these videos where an organizer comes in and organizes a craft room. Somehow, the algorithm's been sending me to those channels. And it's really amusing to me when the organizer is talking with the craft person about simplifying and moving things around and building systems and so forth. And then you see the organizer's staff of interns come in and start moving tables and boxes and crates and putting up shelving. And, oh, I see how you organize your craft space. You have a team of 5 come in and remodel. Adding shelving is remodeling. And that's cute. It's not practical for everybody, but it's cute and it's helpful. I mean, I do find it helpful to think about whether you're a person who needs things put behind a closed door or you need them out where you can see them. I'm definitely fall into that clutterbug butterfly mode. If you know Clutterbug, her channel talks about butterflies, and I forget what else, what other ones there are, but ladybugs, different things. I'm a butterfly, like to have things out where I can see them. You can see that from how I put my knitting books out up here. Yeah, but she had a staff of 5 doing this craft space. Laura Vanderkam is a organizer and time management expert, I guess is more the correct term. She's written a book about 168 hours. That's how many hours you have in a week, and is very much in favor of logging your time, which I'm actually going to do with the brown top-down sweater. Just have an idea of how fast I can make a sweater. But she has a Substack, and she wrote an article that she released this week called "How to Work and Relax in a Mess," and it spoke to me in some ways, and it didn't speak to me in others. So I wanted to talk about it. She has 5 kids. I have 3. Mine are grown now, but when I was in the middle of dealing with having 3 young children and being a single mom, my aunt and uncle came to visit me, and they came to me after a day of being around my house and said, "Oh my God, Fran, it's every 23 seconds there's a request from a kid, and it never stops until they're in bed." And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much the way being a mom is. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not much. I remember it taking me 18 minutes. I remember timing myself once, and that morning it took me 18 minutes to get 3 kids in the car and get them buckled in, just from the standpoint of, one would not have their shoe on, or get your book bag, or whatever, get your coat, whatever it is, 18 minutes. So you have to back up 20 to 30 minutes and start getting them ready to get in the car to get to school on time. And it's just a lot. So she has 5 kids. And so she is talking in this article about how to work and relax in a mess, about not needing a spotless home in order to get work done, or in order to meet other priorities besides house cleaning, which we all should have other priorities besides house cleaning. And I expect if you're watching this, then knitting is a part of that. Or watching Blue Gal, which, thank you. If you're a non-knitter and you're just watching to hear my voice, thank you. I know there are people out there doing that because you listen to my political podcast, or you heard me on Bob Sesko or whatever. Thank you. Hi. Yeah. So time and productivity is what she's talking about, and being able to function and do what is a priority in your life, knitting in my case, and either ignore the mess or deal with the mess in a more functional way that allows you to also pursue your priorities. And she says in this article, if you were looking for permission to let things be a little messy, here it is. But if you really truly have trouble focusing or relaxing in a mess, you might just need to acknowledge that's the way you are, and then figure out a way to deal with it. And that's true. If you just can't function with, something. It's funny. I saw something on Instagram the other day. A husband said, "My wife asked me to pick up the house while she was out shopping." And he took a picture of the house, and it was spotless. The house was spotless. And that's a standard that this woman had of, and I don't think they had kids yet. I really don't think they had kids yet. But yeah, there were no dishes. There were no beds to make. Everything was vacuumed. And the husband was photographing this and saying, "What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to clean up?" So, lowering your standards was one of the best motherhood advices I ever got, which was actually from the aunt who came to visit me. Lower your standards. Another thing Laura Vanderkam said is, if you work from home, one option is to have one space that's clean for you to work in. I don't have that. I don't have one space that's clean to work in. I mean, I have this space, but the dining room, the laptop is on the dining room table right now, which there is no space on the dining room table. I'm not going to turn my camera around to show you. It's just full of paper and knitting and stuff. And so, yeah, but I do have this one space where I can do my podcast. That's true. Another option, she says, Laura says, is to leave. Go knit in your car. Go knit at a coffee shop. Go knit in the library. Take a cruise and go knit for a week away from your mess. I've done that. And if that's not feasible, this is the last thing, and I think this is a really good one, but I have a caveat to it. She says, set an absolute limit on cleaning time. Clean for 30 minutes and then do a check-in with the work buddy, or, just stop 30 minutes, clean that area that you need to be organized in order to work, and then you have a clean space to work in. But my alternative on that is no housework until I've knit for 15 minutes. And so I set a timer and knit for 30 minutes, knit for 25 minutes, whatever it is you decide is the time, and then set another timer and clean for 15. Make it less than the knitting time. Or have 3 tasks that you do after you've knit for 30 minutes. That's another thing is, for me, it was dishes, laundry, and vacuuming, which vacuuming meant tidying, because I had to move toys off of the floor in order to vacuum. So getting those 3 things, load the dishwasher, do 1 load of laundry, and clean up the living room and vacuum it. And I could do all that in 30 minutes. And then it's back to work or back to knitting or whatever. But no housework until you've knit for 15 minutes in a row. That was my rule when the kids were little, because I caught myself after bedtime, when the kids were in bed and were really in bed and not getting up and bothering me. And I caught myself folding laundry at 9:00 at night. And when I did, I just about cried, because it was just like, why are you doing this? You should be reading a book or knitting. You should be taking care of yourself, for God's sake. It's okay to relax, she says. There's nothing wrong. This is the last paragraph. There is nothing wrong with wanting a neat home. The problem is if the desire keeps you from getting your work done, advancing in your career, or getting to relax. Yeah, I mean, getting to relax, getting to create. If you are like me, your purpose is creativity and communication with the outside world about that creativity. So I'm just looking at my yarn again. Sorry. What is she looking at over there? I'm looking at my new yarn. I'm looking at my Mother's Day yarn. And I'm excited about having this. I'm going to brainstorm about this in my creative time. This is going to be fun. I hope you guys have a good week. Like I said, I'm going to take my time with the Shetland Woolly Cat and slow down and put a pillow under my arm and give myself that muscle support and take it slower, because Speedy Gonzalez is not working for this arm. So we're going to go slower and a little more deliberate and a little bit, it's still fun. It's still really fun to knit. It's still my thing, but I was just blazing away on it and hurting myself working on this so fast. So need to slow down, support my muscles, and make it beautiful. It's beautiful, and I'm thrilled with it, and it's going to work out okay. Just slow down a little bit and work on it for 15 minutes before I do any housework. I hope that's helpful to you, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
On Wednesdays at 7, sharp as can be, blue gals calling, come knit with me.